After a brief introduction of a special function, today we are going to discuss the series solution of second order differential equation with variable coefficient. Actually, in this section we will discuss a particular method which is known as Frobenius method to solve such equations. In fact, in the first introductory lecture, you have seen that the equation of second order differential equation with variable coefficient arise in physical problems, and such equations do not find their solutions in terms of the elementary functions like e to the power kx, sin kx, cos kx, e to the power minus kx, e to the power plus minus ikx. So how such equations can be solved? For this, Frobenius has developed a particular method. In fact, equations of second order with variable coefficients are solved by numerical methods, and there are situations when we find a solution of such equations in the form of infinite convergent series. So let us see how this series method will be applicable and how we will actually discuss such methods. In fact, you can see here, when you consider a second order differential equation of this form, d2y by dx square plus k square y equal to 0, and d2y by dx square minus k square y equal to 0. So if the equation 1 and 2, if you see, then you find that these are actually second order differential equation with constant coefficient, not variable coefficient. These are ordinary differential equations, and when you solve these equations, you have to integrate these two equations 2 times, and after integration, the solution of this equation 1 you have definitely studied is in this form: y equal to a e to the power kx plus b e to the power minus ikx. And equivalently, we also write its solution in this form: y equal to a cos kx plus b sin kx, or in this manner a sin kx plus delta. Actually, these are the solutions of equation 1 which we have defined here: d2y by dx square plus k square y equal to 0. In fact, in these solutions, these a, b and delta are arbitrary constant, or you can say these are actually the integration constants. In fact, since this is a equation of second order, so definitely there should be 2 arbitrary constants in its solution. And similarly, if we write the solution of this equation 2, that is d2y by dx square minus k square y, then you will find that its solution is y equal to a e to the power kx plus b e to the power minus kx. So what is the conclusion? As I have told you earlier, that the solution of second order linear differential equation with constant coefficient involves elementary functions like e to the power plus minus ikx, e to the power plus minus kx, or sin kx, or cos kx, and so on. So these functions actually involve when there is a linear differential equation of second order with constant coefficient, not variable coefficient. But our today's problem is to discuss the solution of second order differential equation with variable coefficient. So now let us see a particular second order differential equation with variable coefficient. For this I have taken the example you can see here. This is p naught of x d2y by dx square plus p1 of x dy by dx plus p2 of x y equal to 0. In fact, in this equation, these p naught of x, p1 of x, p2 of x, these are actually polynomials in terms of infinite convergent series. Remember, these are not infinite divergent series. Divergent series will be not a valid solution. These are actually infinite convergent series. Or in other words, you can say that it is a second order differential equation with variable coefficient. So, how these equations will be solved? In fact, as I have told you, such type of equations arise in physical problems when you study physics, when you deal with problems like hydrogen atom, like linear harmonic oscillator, rigid rotator, and so many other. Then you will find that these type of equations involved there, and the solution of such equations are in the form can be done by numerical methods. But apart from the numerical method, we can also solve these equations analytically. In fact, the analytic solution of such equations was provided by the mathematician Frobenius, and that solution is known as series solution. But this series solution is not always valid. There are some situations and some conditions will be satisfied. Only then such equations find its solution in the form of infinite convergent series. So let us first of all discuss the validity of the series solution of such type of equations. In fact, such equation will have a series solution in a particular condition, and to know that series solution, first of all, let us see, we divide this equation, equation number 1, by P naught x throughout. So divide equation 1 by P naught of x throughout. You can see, if we will divide this equation 1 by P naught of x throughout, then the first term will be d2y by dx square. In fact, P naught of x will cancel out in the first term. The second term will be P1 of x over P naught of x dy by dx, plus the third term will be P2 of x by P naught of x y, and this will be equal to 0. When you will divide this 0 by P naught of x, result will be 0. And let us suppose here that this is written as d2y by dx square, and P1 of x by P naught of x, let us say it is a small p of x, and dy by dx, plus, and we suppose P2 of x by P naught of x as q of x. We consider it, and this is equal to 0. Let us say this is equation 2. So you can see that I have assumed here that this P of x is equal to what? This is actually P1 of x by P naught of x, and this q of x. Q of x I have substituted for P2 of x by P naught of x. I have substituted it. So now we will see the conditions under which the series solution of such equations are valid. So first of all, see the first condition, and that in this first condition we will actually discuss a particular point that is called ordinary point. Ordinary point. In fact, what is this ordinary point of the equation which I have actually defined here in equation 1. So what will be the ordinary point of this equation 1? How it is defined, let us see. In fact, the point x equal to 0 is called an ordinary point of that equation 1 if and only if p0 of 0, it means when you take x equal to 0 and find the value of p0 of x, and that value of p0 of x at x equal to 0 is not 0, then we call that point x equal to 0 as an ordinary point. So x equal to 0 is called an ordinary point. Ordinary point of equation 1 when p0 of 0, when you say p0 of 0, it means when x is equal to 0. This is not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, then this point x equal to 0 is called an ordinary point of the equation defined in equation 1. But if this condition is not satisfied, in that condition, in fact, x equal to 0 will be called a singular point. So you can say otherwise it is called a singular point. But here, first of all, we will see if x equal to 0 is a singular point of this equation, then what will be the series solution of this equation in this Frobenius method. So in fact, in this condition, when x is equal to 0 is an ordinary point of this equation 1, then its every solution can be expressed in form of a particular series. And what is this series? I am mentioning here that you can say when x equal to 0 is an ordinary point of equation 1, then its every solution, not a particular solution, but every solution of equation 1 can be expressed as series of the form y equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube plus so on. Or in compact form, you can write this expression by the use of summation, and so equivalently we can write y equal to ak x to the power k, where k runs from 0 to infinity. So actually, if x equal to 0 is an ordinary point of this equation 1, then you can see that every solution of this equation 1 will be expressed in the form of this series y equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube and so on. And we can write this in compact form as y equal to summation over k running from 0 to infinity and ak x to the power k. So remember, when x equal to 0 is an ordinary point, then we will write the series solution of such type of equations in this form. Now we will see the another condition which is actually the singular point. In fact, this condition is crucial. We have to be alert when we are going to discuss the solution of such equations, in which case singular point will exist. In fact, x equal to 0 is called singular point of that equation 1 when p0 of x, when x is 0, is actually equal to 0. When not equal to 0, then that is an ordinary point, but if it is 0, then it is called a singular point. So you can say x equal to 0 is called singular point. Singular point of equation 1, which we have defined earlier. But when it will be called a singular point, so if p0 of 0, it means you find the value of p0 when x is equal to 0, is equal to 0. So if p0 of 0 will be equal to 0, then you will call this x equal to 0 a singular point of equation 1. Now in this condition, if you find the derivatives of all orders of two functions, x times px and x square qx, and you see that derivatives of all orders actually in the neighborhood of x equal to 0 exist, in fact, or you can say defined, then this x equal to 0 is called a regular singular point of that equation. So let us write it. If x into p of x, a small p, remember, and x square into q of x square into q of x possess derivatives of all orders in the neighborhood of x equal to 0, then this point x equal to 0 is called, in fact, regular singular point. Regular singular point of equation defined in 1. And when x equal to 0 is a regular singular point, then at least one of the solution of this equation 1 can be expressed in a particular type of series, which I will mention here now. So you can see when x equal to 0 is a regular singular point, regular singular point of equation 1, then at least one of its solution, remember, at least one of its solution, not all of its solution, one of its solutions can be expressed as, how in this condition we can express it? This can be expressed as y equal to x to the power m into a naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube plus so on. Or in compact form, you can write this series in this way. This is summation over k running from 0 to infinity ak x to the power m plus k. So if you have seen that x equal to 0 is a singular point, not an ordinary point of equation 1, and how we can understand that x equal to 0 is a singular point, we will find the value of p0 of x when x equal to 0, and if you find that p0 of x at x equal to 0 is equal to 0, then we say that this point x equal to 0 is a singular point, and after that we have to see that this function x into px and x square into qx possess the derivatives of all orders in the neighborhood of x equal to 0 or not. If it possesses the derivatives of all orders in the neighborhood of x equal to 0, in fact, in that condition, we say that this x equal to 0 is a regular singular point of this equation 1. And if x equal to 0 is a regular singular point of this equation, then at least one of its solution can be expressed in this manner: y equal to x to the power m into a naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube and so on. And equivalently, you can write y equal to summation over k running from 0 to infinity akx to the power m plus k. In fact, here m is a number which may be positive, it may be negative, integer, or even it may be fractional. So m is either positive or negative integers, and or you may say fractions. This may be fractions. It means m may possess the fractional value too. Now, if the condition is not like that, it means x equal to 0 is not an regular function, regular singular point of this equation 1, but you say that x equal to 0 is an irregular singular point of equation 1. When it will be an irregular singular point? In fact, when this function x into px and x square into qx will not possess the derivatives of all order in the neighborhood of x equal to 0, then we will say that x equal to 0 is an irregular singular point of this equation 1. In fact, in this condition, the equation will not have a series solution in the form which I have defined here in equation 4. So you can say that if x equal to 0 is an irregular, not regular, irregular singular point, of 1, then solution of equation 1 is not in the form of the series defined in equation 4. Defined in 4. So this is the basic idea or condition for the series solution. Now, first of all, we will see When x equal to 0 is an ordinary point of this equation which we have defined in equation 1, in fact then how we can solve the second order differential equation with variable coefficient. In fact, in this lecture we are going to discuss the general rule for the solution, and after that in second lecture we will see the proper example, and then your concept will be actually very clear. So now number A, working rule for the series solution when x equal to 0 is an ordinary point of the equation. Which equation? You have seen the equation is in this form: p naught of x y double dot, in fact this is d2y by dx square, plus p1 of x y prime and plus p2 of x y equal to 0. Now let us say this is our equation 1. So you know that if x equal to 0 is an ordinary point, then solution of this equation 1 we have just seen is written in the form of a particular series, and that series is what you can see here. So let in this condition the solution will be y equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus so on, plus you may write an x to the power n plus so on. And equivalently you may also write this series in the by the use of summation. So you can write y equal to summation ak x to the power k, where k is from 0 to infinity. So this is the solution of this equation defined in equation 1. But in this solution you do not know the coefficients a naught, a1, a2, so on, and an, and so on. In fact, as it is a second order differential equation, so there must be two arbitrary constants in this solution. So actually our purpose will be what? Our aim will be to find the coefficients like a2, a3, a4, and so on in terms of a naught and a1. In fact, we do not need to evaluate the value of a naught and a1, and you cannot evaluate it. In fact, in our solution, these constants may exist, a naught and a1, and this should exist because this is equation of second order. So there must be two arbitrary constants in the solution. So our aim is to find the values of a2, a3, a4, and so on in terms of a naught and a1. So how actually we will evaluate these coefficients in terms of a naught and a1? For this, first of all, in the first step, you have to find the derivatives of y of first order and second order simply by differentiating this equation 2. So in first step, find dy by dx. Find dy by dx, and you can see the equation defined here in this equation 2. From this equation 2, you can see dy by dx will be what? This will be simply summation over k, and k a k x to the power k minus 1. You can see it. When you will differentiate, ak is a constant factor and we will differentiate simply x to the power k, and so that will be k into x to the power k minus 1. K minus 1. And now see here, if you take the limit from k equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on up to infinity, when you will substitute the value k equal to 0, then when k will be 0, this term will become 0. So there is no need to write the limit k equal to 0. In fact, non-zero value of this series will be only when we start the value from 1. So we exclude the k equal to 0. You can write, but there will be no advantage to write this limit k equal to 0, because when we will put k equal to 0, the value of this series will be actually 0. So we start the value of k here from 1. So k 1 to infinity. Now we will again differentiate this y with respect to x. So we will find actually the second order derivative, because you can see in fact in our given equation there are actually the two derivatives. This is second order derivative and this is first order derivative, and we have already defined this y. So our aim is to find y prime and y double prime. So this is in fact you can say y prime, and this is in fact y double prime. So what will be this? You can see this will be summation over k into k minus 1 into ak. You can see here x to the power k minus 2. This is a simple differentiation. Now you can see, if we take k equal to 0, then due to this k, this term will vanish, this will become 0. And when you will take k equal to 1, then due to this k minus 1, this will be 0. So there is no need to write the limits of k 0 and 1. So we will start for non-zero value k equal to 2 to infinity. If you write the limit from k equal to 0 to infinity, that will be right, but that will be not advantageous. For the first two values of k, 0 and 1, this expression will be 0. So we do not write that. We start the value of k from 2. So now in this way, we will find the value of y prime and y double prime. Now, in the second step, after finding these derivatives, we will substitute the value of this y, you can see here y, and y prime and y double prime in the given equation which is defined here in 1. So now let us substitute the values of y prime and y double prime in 1. Now, when you will substitute the values of y prime and y double prime in that equation, then after substituting these values in second step, we will do what? We will actually equate to 0 the coefficient of various powers of x, and equating the coefficient of various power of x to 0, we will find actually a2, a3, a4, so on in terms of a0 and a1, as I have told you earlier. So now equate to 0. Equate to 0 the coefficient of various powers of x and find A2, A3, A4, so on in terms of A0 and A1. A0 and A1. So equating to 0 the coefficient of various powers of x after substituting these values in equation 1, we can obtain the value of A2, A3, A4, so on in terms of A0 and A1. But there is no need to equate separately these coefficients. You can directly equate to 0 the coefficient of a general term x to the power n. In fact, when we will equate to 0 the coefficient of general term x to the power n, then a result will be obtained which is actually called a recurrence relation or recurrence formula. And from that recurrence formula, we will be able to determine the values of A2, A3, A4 and so on in terms of A0 and A1. So you can say that we should equate. So equate to 0, equate to 0 the coefficient of x to the power n. The relation so obtained is called, in fact, recurrence relation. Recurrence relation, or you may call it recurrence formula too. In fact, from this recurrence relation, we can find the values of different coefficients A2, A3, A4 and so on in terms of A0. So giving different values of n in recurrence relation, we obtain A2, A3, A4 and so on, or in brief you can say different coefficient AIs in terms of A0 and A1. As I have told you earlier, there is no need to find these. These two coefficients will be in our final solution because it is a second order differential equation. So there must be two arbitrary constants in this solution. So after evaluating these values A2, A3, A4, so on from this recurrence relation, now we will substitute all these values in the equation 1, and then you will get actually the solution of that equation in terms of the arbitrary constants A0 and A1. So finally, what we will do? Finally, we substitute the values of A2, A3, A4, so on in equation. In which equation? You have to substitute this in this equation. You can see in this equation 2, we will substitute the values of different coefficient in equation 2 and get the solution in terms of in terms of arbitrary constants A0 and A1. So this is actually the general rule to solve such type of equations when x equal to 0 will be an ordinary point of the equation. In fact, after this basic concept for the solution of second order differential equation with variable coefficient when x equal to 0 is an ordinary point, in the next lecture we will see some of the important examples and solve those examples, and after solution of those examples actually this rule will be very clear to you and you will